This is Jamie with the Renegade Gospel. Today we'll be discussing the logical proof of monotheism. How do we know that there is only one God? Is it possible that there could be more than one God? Consider space. People do not actually consider what space is. Rather, they identify what has been told to them as space or what they've always called space. Consider, for instance, the space on a paper. It's space in reference to something. Say the edges of the paper to the inside is the space within the paper. Or if you make a circle in the paper, you will have the space inside the circle or the space inside the circle. The same would be for any geometric figure. But now try to conceive the universe. Okay, the universe is expanding. What is it expanding into, and what exactly is expanding? Okay, so that means that the space that we call space, that which surrounds the planets, the solar systems, is not actually space. And we do know that it's actually filled with a force, which we call gravity. Okay, so it's not empty. There is a fabric there, which we call space-time. So space-time is expanding into what we would call no-thingness. Okay, that would be the space outside of our universe. Now, when we consider what we call an omniscient, omnipresent, omnipotent being, we're talking about a being that created this universe and therefore fills any possible space. Now, if this being fills all possible space, being omnipresent, present even in the no-thingness, and of course that would make this being no thing as we tend to relate to things. But this is not an illogical concept. Do we consider our thoughts things? Where do these thoughts actually exist? We know that stimulating a place in the brain, for instance, will stimulate thoughts. But do the thoughts actually exist in the space that's stimulated? Rather, these different neurotransmitters, chemicals, different physical activities take place, which these thoughts occur in or from. But we cannot actually say that the occurrences themselves are the thoughts. So, what space do these thoughts actually exist in? Do thoughts take up space? Is there a limited amount of thoughts that can be placed in a container which we call a mind? Now, if we're able to conceive this space which is outside the universe, that means our mind is able to conceive that thought, and the thought fills that space. Now, we do not consider ourselves perfect beings, so we are a contingent mind which is based upon a necessary mind. The necessary mind being the mind that's totally complete in itself and which would capture within itself all space. Now, if this being captures all space within itself, there cannot be any other space wherein a equal God could exist inside of. Otherwise, that space would be a mind which is bigger than these two gods. And again, we have an infinite regress of ideas here. Every time we consider another possible God, both of those gods have to exist within the mind of a single God. So logically, there can only be one single God. And clearly, if we think of the name which is given in the Bible, I am that I am, this name totally represents what exists in all space. I am that I am in all space, for example. This being the only proof that we need that there is a single God, and it shows the illogic of seeking out separate gods or a plethora of gods to worship, because there is one God which contains all gods, and it is only that God which is worthy of worship, because that God is the ultimate creator, the ultimate mind, the ultimate thinker. Thank you. This has been a word from the Renegade Gospel.